Hey guys, today we're going to install a Quantum Fuel Systems replacement fuel pump. Here's a part number. That is a replacement part for a BRP product 275500779 for a 2011 SeaDoo GTX Limited 260 IS. That IS means that this machine has a suspension setup that separates the seat and handlebar from being directly connected to the hull, and also makes accessing the fuel pump a little bit more of a challenge. As you can see, there's a little panel here that covers the fuel pump and tank. I've already taken the bolts out of that. There are 4 Allen head screws here, and matching 2 on the back. That will come up and out. And then there are some vent hoses that went onto the bottom of there that I've already removed. This is much easier if you raise this whole seat compartment up, block it with some wooden blocks here. It gives you a little room to work. In just a minute, I'll show you a picture of what it looks like down inside that hole. Okay, so you can see it's down in a bit of a hole there. The pump is secured with that plastic lock ring. You'll want to make note on your machine of which direction those connectors are facing. There's an index arrow that shows you which direction it should go. You need to make sure that's pointed the right direction so that your fuel level float is pointed in the right direction and you get an accurate fuel level reading. The first step for me was to unhook that electrical connector and then work on unscrewing that lock ring. Quantum Fuel Systems does sell a tool to help with that. At the time, I didn't have that, so I used a large oil filter wrench. I'll show you a picture of that in just a minute. I do have the tool from Quantum to use to tighten that back down. This is my old pump still in place. I was using that to keep the tank sealed up until I could get the replacement part in a few days. All right, this is the part number for the Quantum Fuel Systems fuel pump wrench. There's the wrench. You'll need to assemble this with a couple of wing nuts when you get it. It works very easily by just placing it on the lid, lock ring, adjusting the size, tighten those down, and then use a 3/8 socket ratchet extension and then loosen it. Before I had that tool, I used this adjustable oil filter wrench. It does get the job done, but it is quite difficult to do, to reach into that hole and grip and get enough grip on it, but it is doable. I wish I'd had this tool before I started the project. One more quick note. Notice this gasket sits around the edge of the pump up against that flange. It's much easier to put that down in the tank, let this lip rest on the flange of the tank, and then slide the pump through the gasket versus trying to put this on the gasket and slide it into the tank, because that lip there will get caught on the tank and it's really hard to keep from rolling it up and out of there. All right, here we have the new Quantum Fuel System fuel pump. We're going to put that in place now. Got to slide it back into this little opening here. Once all is clear, make sure that your float is clear, and I'll wiggle that back in place and be back with you. All right, we're finally back. It's taken a little while to get the lock ring started. That pump is spring loaded, so in order to get the lock ring started, you have to hold down on the pump inside the tank and then thread the lock ring on. And you use that tool that I showed you earlier, tighten it down to factory spec. I think they said 60 foot-pounds, but I'll double check that. Next is to make the plumbing and wiring connections. That's a pretty quick and easy process, and then we should be on our way. So this connector just snaps on. Push these buttons on either side to release it. When you want to put it on, you just slide it over, push it down, and it clicks. The next connection, I don't have enough room to show you, but it will slide onto that little brass barb there.